All right, back in the news with another lesson. Through the spirit and power of Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem, Rakakadash. Double honors unto the elders, apostles, elder bishops at the great millstone. Peace and blessings to the sincere brothers pushing this truth to the four corners of the earth, and to the few sincere sisters listening and learning as well. To you, Shalom. So we're going to get straight into it, straight to the point. Okay, because one thing that we're seeing all over the earth is that there's an economic war going on. And that war is mainly predicated against the United States dollar. You see the state of America, this place is on the way out. It's on its last legs. This place ain't got that much longer left. And these nations can see that. Even Europe, the European Union can see that. America's own allies. Because remember what America did when Russia invaded Ukraine. They put sanctions upon Russia and pretty much forced their own allies and anyone that did business with Russia to forego those benefits that they were getting. Cheaper oil, cheaper gas, grains, and different things of that nature. They had to forego that because of the sanctions. But now what's happening is there's a coalition that's being set against America. Russia, China, pretty much all the BRICS nations. And you have a lot of nations now that are looking to join the BRICS. So the BRICS is only getting stronger. And what's happening is they're starting to trade in their own local currencies instead of trading in the US dollar. So you know what that means for America? That means that this economy is about to collapse. This is why you're seeing that inflation is higher than it's ever been. And it's only going to get worse because your buying power becomes less and less because less and less nations are trading with American USD. So this is why your quality of life is going down. This is why a studio apartment in New York City costs $1,800+. This is why it's difficult to afford car payments and mortgage, even to put gas in your car. This is why, because no one wants to do business with America anymore because they see that America and its policies are hypocritical. You know, America goes into other nations and they tell them you can't do this and you can't do that. Meanwhile, America is doing the same and a lot of times worse than what these nations are doing. But they're going to tell you that you can't economically benefit from your own resources. So because of that, because of the hypocrisy of America, these nations are siding with China, Russia, the BRICS nations to protect themselves from American-led hegemony. So it goes into it. It says somebody knows something. And of course they do. Remember earlier this year, should I say, when a lot of these smaller banks were being bought out by the bigger, more commercial banks. Why you think that was being done? Ultimately, because there's a new system that's about to be set up, and it's a digital system. And the bigger commercial banks, they have the capital, they have the means and the infrastructure to institute this new digital infrastructure when they're ready to roll these things out. Okay, and that's mainly going into what? CBDCs, the chip, all right, the RFID microchip, which is the mark, the MOTB, according to Revelation 13 and 16. Elon Musk working on the Neuralink brain chip. And they also have the wallet more that you can have implanted into your right or left hand. People already have these things, but it's going to play hand in hand with the CBDC because this is what you're going to need in this new system to buy and sell. And if you don't have it, well, you're not going to be able to buy and sell, which buying and selling in this world pretty much encompasses your whole life. If you can't buy and sell, then you really can't live. Think about it. You have a job for the purpose of what? To make money, to do what? To pay your bills, potentially save, have some leisure time, go on vacation, but all of it revolves around what? Buying and selling. So if they cut off your ability to buy and sell, then they essentially cut you off from life. And this is what they want. See, the elites, they want more control over your life. And this is why these certain measures are being put in place that are anti life, pretty much. This against people having any type of private ownership, This is why they want people to have electric vehicles. They don't want you to have cash anymore. Okay, all of these things that you were used to are going out the window in favor of a completely digital electric grid in which they can track, trace, and control everything. If you say something that they don't like, guess what? The CBDCs that they're about to put in place, if you say something that they don't like, then guess what? They can cut you off. You see, you might go to the store, you want to get some groceries, but when you go to the cashier to pay with your palm or pay with your CBDC, they're gonna tell you, sorry, your transaction has been declined because of whatever reason, and you're gonna know why that reason is. So it says dollar puke fest, which means pretty much everybody is regurgitating the dollar. Okay, they're throwing it up. You know what I'm saying? It's not good no more. Swiss franc panic bid, bond yields plungegasm, gold surge poison, crypto spikeathon, and stocks unch. Okay, that was a weird way to put it, but pretty much there's a panic bid going on for the Swiss franc, which, like I said, more and more of these nations are trading in their local national currencies instead of the U.S. dollar, because the U.S. dollar is fastly becoming obsolete. It's really only going to hold on to its world reserve status until early next year, January, February, around that time. Then it's done. Let me get straight to the point here. Okay, it says, looking at stocks today, you could be forgiven for thinking that today was a typical midweek between Xmas and New Year's Eve day, with all the U.S. majors hovering around unchanged until the last second idiocy from algos. Okay, it says the Swiss franc soared today by over 1% against the USD, the second biggest ultimate safe haven gain of the year outside of FOMC/ECB days. The lifted Swissy to its strongest since the SNB intervention in January 2015. 2023 has seen the Swiss franc strongest annual gains against the dollar since 2010, which the Swiss franc is not a major currency, but now in Europe and even worldwide, it is rising above the value of the dollar, which is why there's a bidding war for the Swiss franc. There's a bidding war for gold assets and what else? Yeah, panic buying and bonds and different things. Why? Because plain and simple, no one wants to use the dollar anymore. Okay, everyone is going to come against America. This place is set to be destroyed. And right now it's falling from within. All right, because the world sees America's hypocrisy. They see that America is supporting the genocide of the Palestinian people in that land. They see that America has been playing world police and pretty much bullying nations for decades. You know what I'm saying? Really for hundreds of years. But now the time for that to be forwarded is now coming to an end, because there's a different spirit in the earth, and that spirit is against America. Okay, this place is not desired anymore. All right, so that's one. We can jump here because this goes into that as well. Iran, Russia to trade in local currencies instead of U.S. dollar. Iran and Russia have finalized an agreement to trade in their local currencies instead of the U.S. dollar. Iran's state media reported on Wednesday. So Iran, all right, they see what America is doing in the land of Israel against the Palestinians, and they've been very outspoken about it, that they don't like what America is doing. All right, and remember last year when America they took out what's his name, that the Iranian top general, I think his name is Soleimani or something like that. Yeah, but America took him out. In Iran, they still want revenge for that. So Iran is pretty much just putting up the big middle finger to America, and Russia, they been on that, but come 2024, it's going to be even more profound. Things about to turn up significantly. The agreement was finalized during a meeting between the governors of the two countries, central banks, and Russia. It said both Iran and Russia are subject to U.S. sanctions. Banks and economic actors can now use infrastructure, including non SWIFT interbank systems, to deal in local currencies. Iran has become increasingly important for the Kremlin. After Western sanctions over Moscow's conflict in Ukraine limited Russia's foreign trade routes and forced it to look for markets outside Europe. And the sanctions that America put on Russia, that actually backfired. Because look at what's happening now. Pretty much the whole world is against America. Because they see that anytime that people don't want to do what America wants to do, they come in, they place sanctions upon you, they steal your resources, you know, they place limits on what you can export so that pretty much your country stays poor. And that is only able to happen because of the power of the US dollar. So the only answer is to gain back control, you must get rid of the US dollar. That's the bottom line, which is what is happening right now. Iranian authorities have said military cooperation with Russia is expanding. Iran said in November it had finalized arrangements for Russia to provide it with Su-35 fighter jets, 28 attack helicopters, and Yak-130 pilot training aircraft. So these moves have now been finalized. So what does that mean? If they are finalizing it now, that means that come 2024, it's about to be a full-on dropping of the U.S. dollar. Okay, which is why it says in the first article that the Swiss franc, pretty much local national currencies are being favored more over the dollar because they know that something is coming, a big crash. And wasn't it Jamie Dimon, which he's the CEO of I believe it's Chase Bank, right? He was saying last year, like I remember doing the lessons on it, but he was saying last year how there's a huge economic storm that's coming. He was talking about inflation. He was going into sanctions and different things like that. And he even forecasted that the U.S. dollar was going to lose a lot of its power. And that's exactly what's happening. So these insiders, so-called whistleblowers, they know what time it is. And it's time for the dollar to fall. It's time for America to go down. Let's get into this. The worst candyflation is yet to come as cocoa prices near record. Cocoa prices Wednesday hit $4,285 per ton in New York, the highest level since 1978. And what was going on during 1978? There was a recession in America. So they're saying that it's at or worse than what it was in 1978. As the outlook of poor crop harvests across West Africa has been a major bullish factor pushing prices higher this year. There is also an increasing risk that El Nino-induced weather disturbances could cause the global cocoa market to sink into a deficit for the third year. You see that? So everywhere you look, it's bad news. Everywhere you look, is turmoil, is sorrow, anguish. All right, things is not looking good, man, which is why we tell our people now is the time to make no tarrying, to turn to the Lord, because we see the things that are going on within the earth. Things about to get real, okay? The ish is about to hit the fan. If you ain't got the Lord, you ain't gonna make it. You know what I'm saying? It says here, Bloomberg reports the world's largest chocolate makers, Hershey and Nestle, have yet to feel the full impacts of soaring prices because cocoa is bought well in advance. This only means consumers will see a further increase in the prices of their favorite candy bars in 2024. See? And we've been talking about it, that 2024 is about to be a hell of a year. People about to catch pure hell in 2024. Look how bad 2023 was. Things only going to get worse. It's not going to get better. All right, we've been telling you this through the spirit and power of Yahweh Bashmi Yahushua. It's the most extraordinary situation I've seen in my career, said Jonathan Parkman, the head of agricultural sales at Marex Group. Warning, I don't think we've seen the worst of the situation for customers. And again, this is what we've been saying. Okay, these people ain't seen nothing yet. This is only the beginning of sorrows. When the food is gone, what are you going to do? Food is comfort for people, man. When you feel anxious or you feel down, you feel sad, what do people go do? They go out to eat or they have a drink, right? But we're coming into the time where you ain't even going to be able to afford candy. And candy, I don't know where this is at because this candy here says 88 cents. But where I'm at, candy is $1 plus. You know what I'm saying? Like if you want to get a Reese's or a Kit Kat, you paying like $1.29. So this is still pretty cheap where they got it at. Like I ain't seen candy at this prices in years. You know what I'm saying? Like when I was a little kid, it was like, this price. But you see the situation in America is only getting worse. Okay, it's not going back to what it was pre CV19. It's not going back to what it was years ago. This is the new norm. And it's going to get so bad, in fact, to the point where people, jobs are going to be lost because the overhead to keep a lot of these businesses running is going to be too much. So a lot of businesses, they're going to have to close up shop, which means less jobs for people. People are buying less already. You see, it was already reported that for the 2023 holiday season, customer spending was at the lowest it has been in, I believe, 5 years. All right. And that's really saying a lot because we're supposed to be, or this was the projection that the economy was supposed to be turning up. That's what Joe Biden told you, right? That, jobs are being created. People are having more money, which, we know that that's BS because we can clearly see the outcome of these policies that the Biden cabinet has put in place, and it's been detrimental to the American people. All right. According to consumer researcher Euromonitor, chocolate prices have risen 17% in the U.S. over the last 2 years. Prices are expected to continue trending higher as cocoa production in West Africa, accounting for most of the world's supply, remains extraordinarily tight. The market does not seem convinced that production will recover enough to avoid a supply deficit for 23-24. Luca Zaramella, chief financial officer at Oreo cookies maker Mondelez, warned last month during an investor call, there is pressure on cocoa. And, people love that chocolate, man. Okay, what I'm saying? People love their confectionery treats, So this is another comfort that people are not about to have. Also, the price of butter, which accounts for 20% of the weight of an average chocolate, has soared. According to Knowledge Charts, a unit of commodities risk analysis, the entire process from shipping to processing has seen increased prices over the last few years, indicating that candyflation will be sticky. It appears global central banks are powerless over El Nino-induced food inflation. Higher prices may be the only cure for Hershey's Kiss and Crunch Bar inflation. So a lot of these industries are about to collapse, all right? Because there's going to come a time where the cocoa, the chocolate, even down to the meat and all the veggies, that it's going to come a time where all these things are going to be non-existent. And when it is, people gonna bug out. Get this last article that we can get some scriptures and close out. The cost of grain that feeds the world hits new 15-year high. On Wednesday, the Thai Rice Exporters Association revealed that the price of Thai white rice, 5% broken, a key Asian benchmark, reached a new 15-year high. This surge is mainly attributed to increasing fears of a global shortage due to the damaging effects of the El Nino weather phenomenon on Asian farmlands and India's recent decision to restrict certain rice exports. Thai white rice, 5% broken, hit $659 a ton, the highest level since October 2008. So this is the highest that rice has been since the Great Recession of 2008. All right. So 15 years ago, all right, so, the price of rice is going back to what it was 15 years ago, which is very bad. Prices of the staple food that feeds billions of people worldwide are up over 50% since the start of 2022. So when Joe Biden comes out and he tells you that we're not in a recession, the economy is looking good, well, he's openly lying to your face, because we can clearly see that that's not the case. All right, that's pretty much it for that. We don't gotta get no more, but let's go to the scriptures, man, because the scriptures speak about these times. Second Ezra 16 in verse 18, the beginning of sorrows and great mournings, the beginning of famine and great death, the beginning of wars, and the powers shall stand in fear, the beginning of evils. What shall I do when these evils shall come? Behold, famine and plague, tribulation and anguish are sent as scourges for amendment. A scourge is what? Something that's used to punish, something that's used to lay pain on people. All right, so famine, which is pretty much hunger, plague, going into disease, strange weather, certain things within the earth rising up out of their places. Tribulation and anguish are sent as scourges, punishment for amendment to what? To fix and correct these people's wickedness. Verse 20, but for all these things they shall not turn from their wickedness, nor be always mindful of the scourges. People ain't paying attention to these things. People not going into these articles. They're not reading. They're not, watching for the signs of the time. This is why Yahweh Shai, whom the world called Jesus Christ, he said what? That the day of the Lord shall come as a thief in the night. Well, it's not going to come as a thief to those that are watching. It's going to come as a thief for those that are not watching, for those that are not mindful. Verse 21, behold, victuals, which victuals goes into what? Food, provisions, things that essentials for everyday living, right? Victuals shall be so good, cheap upon earth, that they shall think themselves to be in good case. So when you could go to the store, which you still can right now, go to the store and buy you a can of, Bush's baked beans for less than $1 or $1. You know what I'm saying? You can go buy you a loaf of bread for maybe $2-3, depending on where you're at. It's pretty cheap. It's pretty affordable. You know what I'm saying? Things are inflation is making things unaffordable, but at this moment right now, food is not you're not paying $10 for a gallon of milk. You're not paying $10 to $15 for a stick of butter. Things have not gotten to that point yet, which when things do get to that point, which that's really hyperinflation, that's when you know that the dollar is pretty much done. When you see that a box of Apple Jacks is $25, that's how you know that your money is worth nothing. That's when you're going to see all hell break loose. But it says what? They shall think themselves to be in good case. Yeah, I'm good. I got all this money in the bank, which that's another thing too. People money about to be gone, because when this blackout happens and the grid is shut down, when the internet is shut down, that's going to be a time of great tribulation because people are not going to have access to their money. It's going to be worth nothing. You see? Then what? A new digital system is going to come. But right now, people think themselves to be in good case. People think that they good, that they all right. But they about to have a rude awakening come to them real soon. And even then shall evils grow upon earth, sword, famine, and great confusion. For many of them that dwell upon earth shall perish of famine, and the other that escape the hunger shall the sword destroy. So the times we coming into, if you somehow, because you got preppers out there that they store up years worth of food, they got guns and ammo galore, right? They think they going to escape the hunger because they understand there's going to come a time where the supermarkets, and tells you in the scriptures that suddenly the full storehouses shall be found empty. You see? So there is going to come a time where there is going to be no more meat. There is going to be no more rice and grain. That's all going to be dried up. That's when a famine is going to be in full effect. But hey, the scriptures say even if you escape the famine, talking about these preppers, people that have extra food put away, guess what? The sword is going to get you. So, hey, either way, you're going to get judged. Either way, if you're wicked, when these things do come upon the earth, you're going to get dealt with. Okay, whether it's by hunger or whether it's by you getting your head chopped off or you catching a bullet to the back of the head, it don't matter. Okay, you're still going to get judged. Yeah, that escape the hunger shall the sword destroy. And the dead shall be cast out as dung, and there shall be no man to comfort them, for the earth shall be wasted, and the cities shall be cast down. Yeah. Ultimate, complete destruction. You see, Ezekiel chapter 7, let me jump down to verse 18. They shall also gird themselves with sackcloth, and horror shall cover them, and shame shall be upon all faces, and baldness upon their heads. They shall cast their silver in the streets, and their gold shall be removed. Their silver and their gold shall not be able to deliver them in the day of the wrath of the Lord. You see? So when the wrath of the Lord comes upon the earth, okay, even before the great judgment, okay, this is really what it's talking about. When you see that there's no more food, okay, because you could be an individual, you may have a couple M's in the bank, you may have tens of thousands, hundreds of thousands in the bank, right? You're super rich. Hey, well, guess what? In the day of destruction and evil, you're going to realize that your money is vanity, that it's not going to do you no good. It's not going to give you no sense of comfort. It's not going to give you any stability. But in fact, it's going to be a detriment unto you. Because people wasted their lives, pursuing money and not pursuing the knowledge and the fear of Yahweh Bashem Yahushua. So when this said destruction do come, it's really going to be, as a reproach. It's really going to be as a mockery unto you because you trusted in the wrong thing. You see? Their silver and their gold shall not be able to deliver them in the day of wrath of the Lord. They shall not satisfy their souls, neither fill their bowels. So it's going to be a lot of hungry bellies out here. All right. It's going to be a lot of people's stomach touching their back because they trusted in the wrong thing. They trusted in vanity. Okay, money and in cars and riches of this world is all vanity. In the day of the Lord, when the ish hits the fan, that's not going to do you no good. You going to wish that you would have dedicated your life to come out this world and follow the law, statutes, and commandments of Yahweh Bashem Yahushua, because the true men and women that serve the Lord, those are going to be the only people in the day of destruction that are going to have a hedge of protection against all that's going to be going on. All right, the scriptures tell you that we're coming into a time of great tribulation, great anguish, great sorrow, great destruction. Calamities are going to be happening all over the place. Money not going to do you no good. A car not going to do you no good. You see? Why you think people right now are on all kind of drugs. You know what I'm saying? They on hardcore, drugs, Finney. They on coke and all different type of things, man, to try and cope with reality, because ultimately they ain't got no faith. They don't believe in nothing. They just through. They just destroyed. So that's the only option for them. But for those of us that trust in the Lord, Yahweh Bashem Yahushua, guess what? The scriptures say that wisdom, knowledge, and stability shall be, so like it, wisdom, knowledge, and understanding shall be the stability of thy times. And that's what we banking on. See, that's what we put our trust in, because this world, the fashion of it is passing away. It's all gonna dissolve, man. It's not gonna mean nothing. The only thing that's gonna matter is what you've done for the Lord, and the faith that you have for the Lord, for Yahweh Bashem Yahushua. That's gonna be the only thing that's gonna get you through these times. Bottom line. They shall not satisfy their souls, not to fill their bowels, because why? Why are people going to die of hunger? Why are people going to die of the sword? Because it is the stumbling block of their iniquity. What is iniquity? Sin upon sin. So these wicked people that walk around out here, they're super proud. They got their nose up in the air. You try to talk to them about the Bible and try to break down prophecy and try to show them the right way. They don't want to hear it. They continue on, and they think that this world is the best thing for them. But what they don't know, because they don't have a spiritual inclination, see, but what they're about to find out is that this world, all that's in it is vanity. See, you should have trusted in the Lord if you knew what was good for you. All right. As for the beauty of his ornament, he set it in majesty. But they made the images of their abominations and of their detestable things therein. Therefore have I set it far from them. So yeah, you trust in the strength of Egypt. You trust in the strength, the fashion of this world. And ultimately, if you trust in that, you're going to be let down. You're going to be disappointed. Okay. People that went to school all these years, then got a PhD. You know what I'm saying? They then got into nursing, doctorate, lawyer. Guess what, man? All that was only good for a temporal moment. You see what I'm saying? But if you ain't storing up your treasures in the kingdom of heaven, really, once again, you trusted in the wrong thing. All right. In dealing with these wars and this economic war. All right, because ultimately all these things are going to lead to WW3, because you have to understand that all these nations, they all want the same thing. They all want this digital society. They're just torn between who's going to have the ultimate hegemony, okay, which they don't want it to be America. You know what I'm saying? They don't want it to be run by the JOOs. They don't want it to be run by the small hat. So that's why China and Russia, they're trying to get as many nations joined unto them as possible to destroy that Western land hegemony. You know what I'm saying? But ultimately, it's really all going to lead to the Third World War, because they're not going to be able to come together. And even America's own allies, according to Revelation 17 and 16, the beast shall hate the whore, NATO and the EU, they're going to turn on America, and they're going to shoot missiles over here because of the egregious actions that America is going to take. Just watch what happens when America goes into the South China Sea and tries to get involved with Taiwan. The French president, Emmanuel Macron, he already let it be known. France is not going over into the South China Sea. And I believe Germany made similar remarks. So you already have that animosity, that hatred for America, even amongst their own allies. It speaks about that in the book of Obadiah. That those that were Confederate with thee have led thee even to the border. Yeah. So man, look, man, all these things about to go down. It's all about to happen. Joel chapter 3 and verse 9. Proclaim ye this among the Gentiles. Prepare war. Wake up the mighty men. Let all the men of war draw near. Let them come up. Beat your plowshares into swords and your pruning hooks into spears. Let the weak say, I am strong. Assemble yourselves and come, all ye heathen, and gather yourselves together round about. Thither cause thy mighty ones to come down, O Lord. Let the heathen be wakened and come up to the valley of Jehoshaphat, or Yahweh, for there will I sit to judge all the heathen round about. Put ye in the sickle, for the harvest is ripe. Come, get you down, for the press is full, the fast overflow, for their wickedness is great. So ultimately, this is going to lead to the Third World War, and it's being prepared. Okay, all the things you've seen within the earth, famine, tensions among these nations about who's gonna, have the number one world currency. Look, man, all these things are a precursor to World War III. The Euphrates River is dried up, and we know what the scriptures say about that. When you see that the Euphrates River is dried up, that's to make way for the kings of the East. Now, who are the kings of the East? Russia, China, Iran, Afghanistan, India. Those Eastern nations, they're all going to converge upon the land of Jerusalem, upon the Holy Land, to besiege it and take it over. And in the midst of that, our Lord Yahweh is going to come back and put an end to all of the heathen raging. All right, so with that, I'm going to go ahead and end this lesson here. Hopefully it was edifying through the Rakah Kadash. In closing, call halal, Yahweh Bashim Yahushua, Bashim Rakah Kadash. And until next time, Lord willing, shalom unto the elect.